Was narrated from Hudhaifa radiyallahu anhu, who said, "The Messenger of Allah, may Allah's peace and blessings be upon him, told me about all the things that would happen till the day of resurrection. So I asked him about all the things that would happen. However, I was not able to ask him what it was that made the people of Medina leave the city of Medina." Muslim, Al-Fitan, Hadith number 2891. It was narrated that Hudhaifa ibn al-Yaman, may Allah be pleased with him, said, "By Allah, I am the one who knows best about all the fitna that will happen to us until the day of resurrection. There is not a single event that he has kept secret from me, except that he has informed me, and he has not informed anyone other than me. But one day, the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, spoke in a gathering in which I was a participant. He said that he counted the things that had happened to this ummah. Among them were 3 that left nothing, and among them were others like the summer breeze that blows sometimes big and sometimes small." Hudhaifa continued his story, "All the companions who were in that assembly have gone died except me." Muslim, Al-Fitan, Hadith number 2891. The above hadiths include several contents that indicate the importance of knowing about the signs of the last day, which include the following. Firstly, the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, stood up to deliver a sermon on the signs of the last day for a very long time. This is as narrated by Hudhaifa, who was later clarified by the hadith of Amr ibn Aktam, may Allah be pleased with him, that the length of his sermon lasted from after Fajr until just before sunset. A very long khutbah that the Prophet had never given before. He rarely gave sermons for fear that his noble companions would become bored. Usually, the sermon of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is short, but contains a variety of diverse meanings as a messenger who is given Yuwami al-Kalam, short sentences full of meaning. The long sermons of the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, were not done by him unless the matter he was addressing was very important and not to be taken lightly, even to the smallest extent. The Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, did not usually do this, especially if it made his companions bored to listen to his day-long sermon, unless it was a matter of great importance that needed attention. The full day was similar to a one-day stadium general lecture to discuss the social problems of society. The difference is that the sole speaker at that time was Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, while the students were the companions, people who are not demanding and understand best with the topic being discussed. The stadium general was very interactive as described in the hadith narrations above. The topic of discussion was only one, namely the events that will occur in this world until the arrival of the Day of Judgment. Secondly, the hadiths implicitly show how much the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him, loved his people. This is reflected in his enthusiasm when conveying the apostolic mandate that was placed on his shoulders as he received it, so that his people did not have to struggle to grasp what would happen in the future and how to react to it. These hadiths show how the companions were also very enthusiastic and attentive to the topic being discussed. They asked the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, so many questions that they were so curious to get future guidance regarding the events that they would experience, that the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, extended the session to a full day. No matter how long the session, the companions would not get bored at all. Rather, they would become more curious and demanding of the answers given by the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, so that they would find very sensitive ears, clearer eyesight, and more spacious hearts. One thing to note, if it took the companions a whole day to grasp the essence of the stadium general delivered by the Messenger of Allah on the topic of the signs of the Day of Judgment, it may take days or even repeated seminars for people our size to know the signs of the Day of Judgment and the various solutions to the various fitna that are the beginning of the Day of Judgment. Moreover, at this time most of the signs are already happening, whether we care about them or not. Fourthly, the aforementioned hadiths show that the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, paid so much attention to the signs of the hour that the companions who narrated this hadith stated that none of these signs were missed in the sermon delivered by the Messenger of Allah until the hour actually occurred. In fact, The Messenger of Allah did not miss a single party that would be afflicted with fitna, but he reported it. 3. Utilizing various opportunities to remind the signs of the coming of the last days. Those who read the hadith literature will find that the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, did not miss a single opportunity to mention the signs of the coming of the hour. This is a clear indication that the mind of the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, was never empty of these signs. Or it could be that the revelation was still in the process of being revealed. This proves that the issue of the signs of the last days is a great matter. How can this be taken lightly when its occurrence is the beginning of a Naba al-Azim? How can this be taken lightly when all four cardinal directions also agree on how important it is to know the signs that are rumored by the Messenger of the heavens? Among them are: once the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, woke up in the middle of the night because he was warned in his dream. Translation: about a disaster, namely the beginning of the deterioration of the wall between Ya'juj and Ma'juj. Of course, the fact that the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, woke up in the middle of the night because he was warned in his dream of a calamity, which was the beginning of the deterioration of the wall between Ya'juj and Ma'juj. We have also seen the long journey that the Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, took during the Battle of Tabuk, during which he used the opportunity to explain the signs of the coming of the last day. In addition, the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, called on his companions to offer their prayers in plural, and then listened to his sermon on the incident of Tamim ibn Aus-Adari, may Allah be pleased with him, seeing the appearance of the Dajjal. Of course, combining prayers is not done unless there are very important matters. Even during Wudhu, he had time to describe the signs of the Day of Judgment to some of his companions. And of course, we also did not miss when the Prophet delivered the Wada Khutbah Haji Wada, which among its topics mention the signs of the Day of Judgment. These and many other moments tell us how much the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, was concerned about the signs of the coming of the last day. It also shows how important it is to know the signs of the last days, which is something that is often neglected by the scholars at this time, so that pious people speak at will on this topic. An important note: some Muslim activists downplay the importance of the topic of studying the signs of the last days. In fact, some of them have even made statements to the effect that studying this topic is a waste of time, or that it should be the last priority for Muslims, and so on. With regard to these people, we do not doubt their sincerity in striving to defend the religion of Allah, may He be glorified and exalted, and we support them in the sense that we do not need to make too much of this issue. But what they say is often a backlash that is not justified, or perhaps this is due to their ignorance of the benefits of knowing about this topic. Therefore, we will comment on their statements here. Most of the disasters that have befallen the Muslim Ummah have been caused by their inability to take the positive side of this very beneficial study. In addition, they have failed to use it as a torch to light their way to Allah, may He be glorified and exalted. If only they would study the many opportunities that the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, used to shed light on this issue, and the many hadiths that are related to this topic, so that they can be used as guidance in the journey of the Ummah in realizing the teachings of Allah in every period that they pass through. Then the study of this topic, understanding its content in depth, and knowing how to interact with it, would make them put this issue on the top of the Muslim priority list. The ahadith that we have mentioned above are sufficient proof of the great and important benefits that can be derived from studying this topic. During the course of our study of this topic, and after researching the hadiths related to it, we found that at least in every month and on every occasion, the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, never missed mentioning this sign of the last days as part of his guidance. In fact, in our view, the light emanating from this guidance will not be seen clearly except through the revelation of the secrets contained therein. C. The companions' attention to the signs of the coming of the last days. Following the lives of the companions will lead us to understand that they were very concerned about the signs of the last days to the highest degree. The Day of Judgment was one of the most important issues that occupied their attention on various occasions. This is evident from the various moments of which we have mentioned some examples, among which are the following. It was narrated from Hudhayfa ibn Asad al-Ghafari radiyallahu anhu, who said, "When we were discussing, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam approached us and said to us, 'What issue are you discussing?' We replied, 'We are discussing the Day of Judgment.' The Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, said, 'Know that the hour will not occur unless you see 10 signs. Then he mentioned the following signs: the appearance of smoke, Dajjal, the rising of the sun from the west, the descent of Isa ibn Maryam, the appearance of Yajuj and Majuj, the occurrence of 3 earthquakes in the western and eastern parts of the earth, followed by the earthquake that occurred in the Arabian Peninsula. Finally, a fire blowing from the land of Yemen will lead people to the place where they will gather. Muslim, Al-Fitan wa Asarath, As-Sa Hadith No. 2901. Explanation: the above hadith clearly states that the topic of discussion among the companions revolved around the Day of Judgment. The word Mudzakira indicates that the discussion lasted for a long time. Likewise, the hadith indicates that the topic they were discussing was 1. The Day of Judgment. The Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, participated in their discussion, and he even explained the signs of the Kubra hour. Perhaps they were talking about the seconds leading up to the Day of Judgment. Thus, the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, explained to them that the Day of Judgment has great signs that must occur before the Day of Judgment actually occurs. On the other hand, the answer he gave them has further broadened the topic for discussion regarding its signs. It is as if he encouraged this discussion among them, and even enriched the subject matter so that they would be more eager to discuss it. It was narrated from Hudhayfa radiyallahu anhu, who said, "We were sitting with Omar when he said, 'Which one of you knows best the words of Rasulullah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, concerning the fitna?' So I replied, 'I am the one.' So Omar said, 'Indeed, you are a brave man in this matter.' So I immediately said in his presence, 'The fitna that befalls a man with regard to his family, wealth, children, or neighbors, can be expiated by prayer, fasting, charity, and commanding the good and forbidding the evil.' Omar said, 'That is not what I meant, but the fitna that hits Muslims like the waves of the ocean.' Hudhayfa said, 'You will not experience the pain of the fitna, O Amir al-Mu'minin, for there is a closed door between it and you.' Omar asked, 'Will it be opened or broken?' Hudhayfa replied, 'It will be broken down by force.' The narrator said, 'Does Omar also know the door?' Hudhayfa replied, 'Yes, he also knows it like the day that precedes the night. Be aware that I am not telling you this for the sake of making it up. Let me go and ask Hudhayfa directly.' So we sent Masruq to ask him, and Hudhayfa replied, 'That door is Omar.' Bukhari, chapter Mawaqit ash-Shala Hadith, No. 525. Explanation: this hadith clearly shows that the companions were people of the highest level in terms of religion. They were very concerned about the hadiths that describe the fitna. They even asked for clarification on this issue. This is evident from Amir al-Mu'minin Umar's question regarding the fitna, which was compared to the waves of the ocean. The hadith above also shows that the companions studied this subject in detail. The hadith opens with Hudhayfa's explanation of the fitna that befalls a person due to his family, followed by Omar asking him about other fitna and explicitly seeking to know what exactly he meant by fitna. It was narrated from Abu Idris al-Khawlani that he heard Hudhayfa ibn al-Yaman radiyallahu anhu say, "People ask the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, about good things, but I asked him about bad things, because I was afraid that bad things would happen to me. So I asked him, O Messenger of Allah, when we were in Jahiliyyah we were in a very bad condition. Then this good Islam came to us, so will the bad come after this good?" He replied, "Yes." Then I asked, "Will there be good after the bad?" He replied, "Yes. There is a dark mist in it." "What is it?" O Messenger of Allah? I asked. He replied, a people who call not by my guidance, and you will know it, but you also deny it. I asked again, after the good, will come the bad? He replied, yes, the callers who call at the door of hellfire. Whoever heeds their call will surely fall into it. I asked again, O Messenger of Allah, give me their characteristics? He replied, they are those who have skin color like us and speak our language.